Okay, so something happened yesterday, which I don't think has ever happened in all the hundreds of shiurs I've recorded. I accidentally deleted the shiur permanently before I uploaded it. So yesterday's shiur is lost. So to summarize, the point of it was the Rambam continued talking about why Chazal concealed midrashim or certain ideas in the midrashim because people who are not qualified will not be able to see the ideas. But he gave this elaborate example about how even someone who's very educated but not educated in this particular topic would dismiss a claim as completely impossible and absurd. But then if he got more knowledge, then he would be able to understand it. But like for people who don't have any knowledge in general, then certainly not. And he quoted this example, which we ended off with, I think here. Yeah, he said, okay, here we go. So he says, yeah. Okay. Uviglal yidiyasam amidus divrehem kalu behem es chayehem v'tzivu lishkod aleim b'shaus halayla uv'kitzui hayom v'asahu hatachlis. So because of their knowledge of the truth of things, because all he's talking about, they spent all of their lives diligently, and all of the hours of the night, and when they woke up in the day. Their waking hours in the day, they made them devoted to this purpose. V'kachu emes, that's true. V'amru, and they said, and here's the statement we're focusing on, Ein lo l'kadosh baruch hu b'olam el arba amos shel halacha. The only thing God has in his world is 4 amos of halacha, which is problematic for many reasons, right? Yeah. No, I don't think he's going to list them. What would you say the reasons are?
Why problematic?
Yeah.
Well,
what does it mean, God's world?
Okay, what does it mean God's world? That's a fair question.
Meaning physicality, there's space.
Right.
Okay,
measurement of space.
Yeah.
Right. And also, doesn't God own everything? Because
yeah, right. He owns the whole everything, right? Not just 4 amos of halacha.
Right.
Yeah.
So according to that Chazal, even without making a bracha, it's not like I'm
go forth and eat. Yeah, right. Yeah. And also from a, Maimonidean perspective, then there's a lot more than halacha. He just got through talking about Masim Merkava and Masim Gracious, and that's not really halacha, Okay, so he says, "V'hizbonim devarim elu." Contemplate these words. Yeah.
Halacha or
halacha. I know you've been, halacha. Yeah, halacha. The only thing God has in this world are the 4 amos of halacha, of Jewish law.
Oh, okay, that changes things.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was saying measurement and stuff because I thought.
Well, I thought you were saying measurements because arba amos.
No, I was saying measurement, yes, but also because I thought it meant halacha, like the Isser on Shabbos.
Oh, we call that hotzah usually, or oh no, sorry, you mean I know what you're talking about. Arba amos b'rishus rabbim. That's right. Yeah. No. This is the arba amos of halacha in general. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the halachic man.
Halachic man, yes. Yeah, okay. I'm glad we're on the same page now, yeah. Okay, so he says, contemplate these statements. She'im tivinim kipshatam yiru b'einecha rechoki me'od min emes. If you take them literally on the surface level, they're going to seem very, very far from the truth. Ilu arba amos halacha bilvad hematachlis, as if the 4 amos of halacha itself, that's the purpose of everything. Ulahazniach shar hamadayim hachacham. So he does. Rambam is Maimonidean, and to just leave aside all other Madaim and Chachmos, was man Shem ve'ever v'she'achareim. What about during the time of Shem ve'ever and after them? Shelo ha'isa halacha, where there was no halacha. B'li safek shelo ha'ila kadosh baruch hu ba'olam klum. God didn't have anything.
Wait a second. What?
Are you saying that the Amos didn't keep halacha? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. So you see from there that that is pashut. Okay. If you look deeply into these statements, timsa bazeh chachma nifla'a, you will find in this wondrous chachma, timsa ehu kolol harbim in muskalos, you'll find that it encompasses many ideas. V'hinni meva'aro lecha kadeshi lecha zeh dugma l'chol mashis damin lecha. I'm going to explain this to you so that it will be a model for everything that will occur to you. So this is his model. If you've ever wanted the Rambam to give a shiur on an agadic statement, this is why he's doing it. He's saying, you'll take one statement of Chazal and this is the type of idea you're going to get. Okay. So you should contemplate it very well. So Chaim Gerson reminded me yesterday, I denied this at first. He reminded me that I gave shiur on this Rambam in October 2021, which I had forgotten about. So I went over this already, but we'll go over it again because I don't recall that, but it's recorded. I just checked. Okay, all right, fine. So we got one new. I didn't do the whole thing. I just went over the purpose of man apparently. Okay, just the purpose of man. All right, the ancients. I think he's talking about like the early thinkers, philosophers. I don't know if he's talking about pre-Socratics, Socratics. I don't know. They did a wondrous investigation into all things, okay, based on their knowledge. He's ames etzlam shekol nimsa muchrach lihios lo tachlis shalama'ana haisa mitziusa. Okay, we don't hold this anymore, but they saw that it was necessary that every single thing that exists has a purpose for which it came into existence, right? It exists for a purpose. So this is like what we call the teleological view of nature, where everything in nature has an objective or a purpose. Okay.
When you say objective, what do you mean, like one thing?
That's
what I'm saying, that things have purpose.
Well, purpose is not an idea that we have in our physics now. We have it in biology, but even in biology, it's not. It's fluid because of evolution, as opposed to saying that like this thing was created for this. Like we can, for example, say that like this spider eats this fly, and they would say that the fly was created as food for this. Fly was created as food for the spider, but we don't have that in like rocks. Like the purpose of the rock is to do this, or the purpose of gravity. That's just not an idea we have in our science. I know you've been talking with Rabbi Trackman, so maybe he has a different idea.
Science there isn't, but like in philosophy or logic,
in logic there is, but he's talking about existences. Yeah, he'll give examples. Once they Ki ein shum davar sheb'mtzius so levatala. Nothing in existence exists for no reason. Okay, like for in vain.
We agree with that, right?
Depends on what you mean by that.
I mean, it doesn't have like a specific, like this fly was made to be eaten by the spider, but like the fly has some purpose, and it can end up being that it gets eaten by a spider. It could be that it just flies around and bumps into the wall.
So I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, for example, I know that with, let's say with evolution, then, there's such thing as, let's say, like vestigial organs, things that used to serve a purpose, right, and then the organism no longer needs them anymore. So like, what would you call, let's say, like, I don't know, the tailbone or whatever, it might not serve a purpose now. It did at one time, but then how far are you going to go back? Like, are you just going to say that the creation of life itself has a purpose, but then everything else is just like, I don't know what these categories even are applied to nowadays. So I think it's easier if we just like leave that out and ask Rabbi Trackman. All right. People who know modern science and Aristotelian science, that's what I mean code word for Rabbi Trackman. Okay. Once this general principle became known to them, Nigshu leprate kol hamatzius ladas tachlis kol min v'min. They ventured into the particulars of existence to know the purpose of each species. V'ra'u shekol nimsa malachusi mataraso yedua. So we know that any product of craft, any artificial thing, has a known purpose. V'ein tzorach l'kach l'kir. You don't need investigation, right? Like unless you didn't know what a hammer was. Ki ein ha'uman ose kli ela achrei shenitztayra b'machshavah tachlisa. A craftsman doesn't make a kli until he knows what the purpose is in his mind. Yeah, what?
Modern art, right?
Yeah, that was the thing also. Yeah, that's why art is not a kalim, right? Art is the purpose is to behold. Yeah, but right. It's not a purpose. Yeah, right. It's to behold, right? It is, but it's not a utilitarian purpose. Yeah. All right. Right. L'mashal, for example, hamishur hazeh lo yasuha hanafach ela achrei shechashav heach efshar lo lachlo ha'etz hamechuber hazeh. Okay, I think the mishur is a. Got my tool words. Yeah, and hold on, let me pause this. Okay, so it's a saw. I knew mishur is like a plane, but like I guess a saw. And this translation says, yeah, saw. A carpenter would not have made a saw unless he first wondered how to cut a piece of wood, right? Yeah. So he envisions in his thought the shape of the saw, and then he ventures to make it in order to saw with nimsa tachlis hamishur lenasherbo. So it turns out that the purpose of a saw is to saw. The purpose of an axe is to chop.
The purpose of a saw is to be seen.
Only an artistic saw. Yeah. A needle is to join two pieces of clothing together, or
Just
to.
throwing out like.
In case you didn't know what
It's just
tools are, yeah.
No, I'm saying it's cool. Just definition of causes right now. Just like final causes of things.
Yeah, right. Same thing with all things that have an artificial man-made purpose. Of all but that which is made by the divine craftsmanship, nature, God's meaning the craft is nature, and the craftsman is God. So, for example, types of fruits and grasses and metals and stones and animals. Some of them you could figure out the purpose really quickly. Some you need tremendous investigation. Some of them are so hidden and deep that you're not going to know unless you get a prophetic vision or you know hidden things. But through science, you're not going to be able to, scientific investigation, you're not going to get it. Man cannot know through his natural investigation why certain ants were created with wings and certain ants without wings. Okay. Why did God make certain worms with lots of legs, others with fewer legs? What is the purpose of this worm or the purpose of this ant? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think we have those questions in biology anymore.
We can answer all those questions.
Well, but I think the type of answer we give changes the question, right? Yes. We don't say that like. We
don't say why is it. We say what does it help with.
Yeah,
we say how it integrates in the ecosystem and how it came to be, but we don't say why does this ant exist in the sense of like if you're viewing it as though God's going to create all the species and now you have to justify the existence of this species versus that species and all of its design features. Yeah. Things that creatures that are bigger than these or creations that are bigger than these and their actions are more evident. So there's machlokas about what the purpose is. So the more knowledgeable and diligent and qualified in comprehension a person is, the more he'll know them. So when God gave Chachma to Shlomo knew where are we? He knew the purpose of these things to a level that was not possible for another person. He knew what the most possible, like the greatest possibility is man's knowledge. He knew, So he spoke about the purpose of the trees and the grasses and the types of animals. It says in the Psukim that he spoke about the trees, from the cedars that grow in Lebanon to the hyssop that sprouts from the wall, and on all these animals. And this was a proof that he had a divine gift, divine faculty. It says after this that all people came to hear the wisdom of Shlomo. Everything that exists under the lunar sphere, meaning on Earth, only exists for Adam Bilbad, for man alone. Now, just not to be confused with, Rambam is of the opinion that the universe does not exist for man, but Earth, everything on Earth exists for man. Yeah, that's his shita. I think others disagree. Certain food animals exist for his food, like sheep and cattle and others. Some for other purposes. Like the donkey exists for man to be able to transport things that he can't transport by hand. Horses to be able to get places quick. So that's, again, we don't think this way, that horses exist for man. Certain things have purposes for man that we don't know what they are. Fruits, some exist for his food, some exist for his medicine. And with the herbs, same thing with all the other species. So if there's a certain type of animal or plant that we don't know the purpose, and I think it means amazing, it doesn't give us nutrition, then that's due to our lack of knowledge. So it's necessary to say that every grass and every fruit and every animal, from the elephant to the worm, as one says, has a purpose for man. And the proof is that in each and every generation, then more benefits of the grasses and fruits are revealed that didn't exist before. And we can derive many benefits from them. Man can't encompass all the uses of all the plants, but they are revealed with each generation. Okay, that was, again, this is a different style of Ram. He's going very, very lengthy here. This feels like a or like Saadi going to like Drasha Saran type thing. Rabbi Friedman in his pitch for Shalhevet in the open house always used to use the example of silicon was people just viewed it as like, this is just like sand, like has no purpose, and now literally makes the world go round, like it has properties that nothing else has, So he says Veshema Tomar Madua Nivru Mini Hara'al Hamamisim. Okay, this is where I needed this also. This is another reason why I wanted this. So maybe you'll ask, what is the purpose of the lethal Ra'al? It's a type of animal. Hold on. Oh, just deadly poison. Ra'al means poison. What about the deadly poison? Sorry, mini hara'al. The poisonous things. Venomous. Venomous. Poisonous means that if you eat it, you die. Venomous means that it bites you, you die. Yeah.
And if it bites you and you die, it means that you're.
Yes, right. Yeah, exactly. Or so he says, such as this cheaty. It says, or the, for example, like the beach. And this translates as the herb called the beach. Okay, let's see if Kafik says. Oh, of course, the aconitum pesicum eisenhut. Okay, I don't know what that is. All right, whatever. So this particular species, v'chashisha alodam, or the blood herb, sheish behem hashmadas adam, which are lethal to people, lo to and don't kill people. So that seems to disprove his theory. If everything exists for man, I mean, I would just say to poison your enemies, but maybe that's just me. Da sheish behem toalios. You should know that they have purposes. Even though they're poisonous when you eat them, they're not poisonous if you apply them to your skin. Yeah.
That's true.
He says,
doesn't everything
poisonous stuff have medicinal purpose?
Yeah, right. No, I agree with that, but you can't just take the same thing that would kill you if you eat it and put it.
No, I don't think he's saying all of them. I think he's giving examples from this blood herb and the bish.
It isn't actually because castor oil.
Yeah.
Comes
right, makes you sick.
Plant.
Right.
No, the castor plant is one of the most deadly plants, like it and nightshade are like the two most deadly plants on the planet.
Right.
And like we extract the oil from it and somehow it makes
it better. There you go. I mean, a lot of the stuff we use also is the quantity. Like caffeine is deadly in a certain quantity, but like, otherwise it's the best thing ever. Yeah. So like the afa koshkein mashalamadim. I think they translate this as rattlesnake. V'kashir yadanu Shatachlis kol ele hi mitzius adam. Once we know that I'm just associating to a childhood memory. When we first moved to Eastern Washington, then I was told that we're moving to a place with like cowboys. And I remember one of the first weeks we went on a hike and we just saw, it was a warning, rattlesnakes here, and it was a severed half of a rattlesnake nailed to the sign. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess we are in cowboy area. Yeah. Sorry. Once you know that the purpose of all of these is the purpose of man, Now we have to investigate what is the existence of man and his purpose. Okay, yeah. Because, and this is a question I have, by the way, which is like, I feel that like the type of teleological inquiry he's talking about in the rest of existence is like outdated, but I also feel like it's a legitimate thing to say that, oh, the purpose of man, and to use this method that he's saying. I don't know how to reconcile those two things. Yeah. Meaning like we said, like, I don't think we hold that there's like, what is the purpose of rattlesnakes in the world? Like, I just don't think, or what is the purpose of, of like, I don't know, diamond. Like, I don't think we investigate science that way and say that there's purposes of things. That was an Aristotelian idea, but I don't think. Uses. Yeah, uses we say right. But then here, I don't think he's just saying the use of man. So yeah, sorry, like this type of iyun. And once they investigated man, matzu sheish la'adam pu'ulos rabos ma'od. I think this is what we did last year in October. I think we started here. They found that man has many activities, many actions, like sneezing. All types of life and trees all these trees can only do one thing. Okay, right? Yeah. Right. Dogs just bark. That's all they do. They only have one purpose. Right? What do dates do? They just make date palms. They just make dates. Right? That's it. The cock shari lamas. What?
They give shade, right?
I don't think you call that an activity. I think like what do they do?
Like essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. So dates. I mean, dates make dates, right? Yeah, exactly. Right.
Like you could use it for shade, but the final clause today.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Commotion we just read that. The cock shari lam, same thing with other trees. V'chein bali hachaim, same thing with animals. Yesh behem oreg bilvad kagon ha'achbish. Some of them weave like a spider. V'yesh boneh kagon hasanuna. Some build like the sanuna, which I think is a type of bird. V'yesh oger kagon hanamala. Some store up food like the ant. V'ha'adam osef ulos rabos shonos. Human beings do many different things. Therefore, therefore they investigated man's actions one by one to see what is the purpose. What is the objective of all these things? They found only one thing that is man's purpose, one activity. All of his other activities are just to preserve his existence so that he can perfect that one activity. That's apprehending concepts and knowing truths clearly. Okay? Intellection, in one word, yeah. Does that
mean that when you're looking for the purposes of other things, you're doing your purpose?
Yes. Oh, very, very meta. Yeah. All right. So he says, it doesn't make sense to say. Again, this is the whole type of reasoning is very Aristotelian. It doesn't make sense to say that man's purpose is to eat or drink or have sex or to build a house or to be king. These are all transient, accidental properties that literally like pass over him. They don't add to his essence.
As opposed to the spider, when it leaves, it is essential.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What is this? I don't see. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's I think we have to choose in the whether we're going to try to get his argument or like substantiate his premises. So we'll take his premises here. All of his other activities he shares in common with other animals, like we weave webs. Okay. Knowledge is what augments his essence and causes him to develop. From a lower state to a higher state. The person used to be man in potential and you became man in actuality. Okay, you actualize yourself. The Before man learns, he's just like an animal. Man is only separated from other animals by his rationality. That is the Aristotelian definition. Rational animal, right? Ritzoni b'milas higayon hasagas muskalas. And by rational, we mean capable of grasping concepts. And the highest concept is God's oneness, the oneness of the Creator. May He be blessed, exalted, and praised. And everything related to that in terms of metaphysics. All of the other areas of knowledge are only there to bring him to metaphysics. If we talk about this fully, then it would be very long. Yeah. Now, okay. Yeah. Obviously. Now we have. I just want to see what this next paragraph length is here.
Does this go all the way for the next 2 pages also?
Yeah, it does. There is a natural division point, but I think it's not until Nishra Sheila Achas. Do you want to do 2 more paragraphs, or should we stop? What? As far as I know, unless my car takes too long. Yeah. 2 more paragraphs?
Just need to check what time Chazar. If Chazar is at 2:15, then.
Okay.
I'm enthralled.
Okay. Why? Because you're human.
Okay.
It's your nature to be
I
enthralled.
have to go 2:15.
Okay, sure. All right, so we'll go a little more. Va'im hasagas muskalos chova lintosh es hagzama b'ta'anugos gufanios. We, along with like seeking knowledge of concepts, we are obligated to forsake excessive involvement in bodily enjoyments. Ki b'muskal rishon, the Rav Pesach loves quoting this next line. It is a first principle. Yasi, you can grasp as a first principle. Sheheres hanefesh b'binyan haguf, ubinyan haguf beheres hanefesh. That the destruction of the soul comes from the building up of the body, and the building of the body destroys the soul. To me, that always strikes me as he should have said it the other way around. He should have said that the building of the body is a destruction to the soul, and the building of the soul is like a destruction of the body.
Doesn't know what this is.
No, he doesn't. I always thought he said destruction of the body is in the building of the soul, and destruction of the soul is in the building of the body, and the building of the body is in the destruction of the soul. He just like changes the order, Yeah, I that's weird to me. The fishim haya adam rodif afar hatavos umaadiv es hachushnios v'shibed sichlo latavos v'nase kabehemos ukayeinim she'in b'dimyonam Allah ha'achila v'hashiz siya v'habeila hari az lo yukar bo hakoach eloki. Okay, I just want to read this poetic statement of the Rambam. It's a beautiful thing. He says, because if man were to chase after taivas and favor sensual enjoyments and subordinate his intellect to his desires, he would become like the beasts and the birds that only involve their imagination in eating, drinking, and sex. And the divine faculty will not be discernible in him, meaning the intellect, and he would then be like matter that is cut off, afloat in a sea of material. Like you're just like a material entity swimming in a sea of physicality. You're not actually like divine. Having a divine quality. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't know if Pesach said this, but one of the times that he mentioned that Haras and Nefesh thing.
Yeah. But
it popped in my mind. Again, I don't know if this is a Pesach who said this or I made it up or I heard it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe you could say that's his whole point, is that by build Hava Amina, right?
Yeah.
Building the Nefesh would also destroy the body.
Right.
But Maskana is that no, it only goes the other way, where insofar as you're trying to perfect your body, you're going to end up destroying your soul. But by perfecting your soul, you end up perfecting your body as well.
So I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think that's what the Rambam's saying. And I'll tell you why. So first of all, I agree with what you're saying in terms of the more you perfect your intellect, then presumably you will use that to take better care of your body, right? But the Rambam, when he talks about the building up of the body, he's talking about involvement in bodily pleasures, and he's saying you have to forego bodily pleasures in order to build up your soul. Like he says explicitly, like you're obligated, that's the statement. He says, along with seeking after concepts, you're obligated to forego excessive involvement in bodily pleasures, because the destruction of the soul is with the building of the body, etc. So I don't think that that's what the Rambam is saying here. By the way, the translation here does translate it the intuitive way. It is a fundamental rule that your soul suffers when you indulge your body, and your soul is restored when you restrain your body. That's true to what the Rambam is like saying, but I don't know what's the deal with the words here. All right, okay. So it's clear from all these premises that the purpose in our world, in this world, and everything in it, is to produce a man who is a person who is learned and has good midos. He kind of throws in the midos there, Once a person who is of the human species acquires knowledge and action, meaning perfection of midos and like justice, presumably. Ritzono b'ma'o, he says. Ritzon b'mada, by mada, he means hasagas ha'amitios al buriam, clear apprehension of concepts, hasagas kol mash efshar la'adam lahasi, and knowledge of everything that's possible for a person to know. Uvamase, and when he says action, hamitzua v'ha'izun b'inyanim hativim, is moderation and equanimity, like harmony in all physical matters, and not being steeped in them, and taking only what he needs for his body, and also perfection of all the midos. A person who's like that, that's the goal. Okay, so someone who is a rational, ethical person. And this is why, when people say, what's the purpose of life? I still think I'm only aware of the Greeks having a word for this, which is eudaimonia, which is human flourishing, which my understanding of that, I can't vouch for every Greek, but like at least in the Stoics, it's my understanding of it is you have your intellect, your psyche, and your body functioning harmoniously in a way that allows like it to flourish without interfering with like your primary function, which is mind. Yeah.
Something that's kind of always bothered me in the Rambam's philosophy.
Yeah.
Where does the ethics come in? I mean, he kind of, like you said, he kind of throws it in at the
right.
end, but
yeah.
Where does that come from?
Yeah, I know where it fits into the Rambam's philosophy. I just don't see where he throws it here. In the Rambam's philosophy, the two places to find it is, in the thing in the More Nevuchim, where the four perfections, where he says that ethical perfection is necessary for a society, so that you can perfect your mind. And then there's a second ethical perfection, if you gain knowledge of Darkei Hashem, it will culminate in V'halachta b'drachav and emulating God. So it's perfection of ethics. There's a perfection of ethics as a means and also as an end. And also as a means. As a byproduct, right. Right, but it's more than just a byproduct. It is the full actualization of what it means to be a human who knows God's ways and seeks to like be an extension of His will.
I think that's his point. Is that if you just said who ish milomid or whatever, and you left out Balmida, so then you would think that it's all about your ideas, it's all about the learning, it's all whatever. But you don't have to work on how we interact with people, how we.
Right, but you were saying byproduct as we were talking about like that second ethical perfection.
Yeah,
right.
Like for what it sounded like you were just saying, like for him that being a truly good person is only good insofar as it shows that you have properly apprehended, all these concepts.
No, I'm not saying only so far as it shows it. I'm saying that like God created man to. I'm going to borrow something that the Rambam doesn't use, like. Of da'u l'shamra, like to guard the garden and to work it, So meaning that, and there's a certain custodianship that man has over certainly the rest of the creation, but then also in terms of doing chesed tzedakah mishpat to his fellow man, So I'm saying like the purpose of it, it's not like the nafkamina is, let's say you had understanding of Darkei Hashem and like you were in jail. So the question is, would you be lacking in perfection? I'm saying yes. I'm saying the fact that you would not be able to act on it and like actually like make a difference in the world would be a lack in your actual perfection, even though you had all the knowledge.
But how come here he says that the purpose for man is
so that's what I'm saying here. I don't know how he brings it in here, and truth be told, I don't think he's even trying to prove this. He's quoting this whole time. He's been quoting the philosophers. Right. He's presenting that argument. I don't think he's trying to make an argument here. Yeah, but that's really where you have to learn also Shmona Prakim, because that's where he talks about ethics. That's his intro to ethics. Okay, let's do this one more paragraph, and then that'll bring us up to the natural division point. All right. V'inyan zeh lo noda mipi hanavim bilvad. Okay, I mean, he wasn't talking about the Nevi'im until this is not just known from the Nevi'im, ella gam chachmei ha'amim hakadmonim, also the non-Jewish philosophers. Af shelo ra'u es ha'nevi'im v'lo shamu divreim, even though they didn't see the Nevi'im, they didn't know their words, they hadn't heard their words. Kvar yadu she'in ha'adam adam shalim ella im kol hamadav hamaseh. They knew that no person is perfected unless he has knowledge and action. I'm definitely now being affected by the air. Was it? Yeah. It's enough if you have the words of the greatest of the philosophers. Let's see if that's Aristotle. 41. 14. That was a typo. Aristotle. Yeah. Okay. That was Aristotle. The Gedolei HaPhilosophim Mataras Hashem. I don't think Aristotle said Hashem. Mataras Hashem Banu Shenihi Nevonim Tzadikim. Classic Aristotle. The goal, God's objective for us is that we be understanding tzaddikim, right? Like people who are have navo tvuna and who act righteously. I got to see what the actual quote from Aristotle is and see how the other translations are. If a person were wise and understanding and he chased after taivos, eno chacham be'emes, then he's not really a chacham. The beginning of chachma, as Mishlei says, is that a person not chase after bodily pleasures and only take from them what is necessary for his body. So he's the same advice I did. He'll explain it in Avos. So you see that the Navi rebukes the person who claims to be a chacham when he is transgressing the words of Torah and chasing taiva. How can you say we are wise and the Torah of Hashem is with us, and then presumably he goes on to rebuke people? Okay, let's look at the pasuk. We should be responsible. We're not in danger. Yeah, we have 6 more minutes. Yirmiyahu 8:8.
While we're doing that,
yeah,
is Rambam taking a side on the Aristotle Plato?
I was wondering that.
It sounds like he is, right?
Yeah. Meaning, how could you be a chacham if you're chasing after taivos, right? Right. You can't be a chacham and say, yeah, I know that these taivos are bad. But it does seem like. Which side is which, by the way?
I'm assuming now Aristotle is that side.
Oh yeah, probably.
That's I never know either. But
yeah,
that's my assumption. Now
Aristotle says you can.
Says that that if you are acting contrary to your knowledge, then it means you don't have the knowledge. That it's impossible to act contrary to your knowledge.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Based on that, that's it.
The whole parak is rebuking them. Okay, fine. Right. Yeah.
It is Yirmiyahu.
It is true. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so too, if a person fears Hashem, who fears Hashem is a parush. Now, parush does not mean an ascetic, and it doesn't mean like abstinent. It means that you are not attached to worldly pleasures. That's how the conclusion we came to in my Pirkei Avos here. You avoid enjoyments except what's necessary. And you relate to all natural things with moderation. And you are, and if you are accustomed in all the good midos, but you're not learned, you're also lacking perfection. You're more perfected than the first guy. So the guy who is ethically perfected but lacks knowledge is more perfected than the guy who is intellectually perfected but lacks ethics. Why? His actions are not from a clear knowledge and fundamental recognition.
That makes it better.
Well, which one is he talking about?
I
assume he's talking about the first guy. I think I don't know.
Maybe it's like.
Well, he says Lefikach Amru Chazal.
Yeah. Okay, right. Lefikach Amru Chazal Ein Bori Rechit K'mo Shebiarna. That's why Chazal say that. So did I get it wrong? He says Elashu. No, he's saying that this ethically perfected guy is better than the first. Yeah. So how does this support it? A boor cannot be sin-fearing. A boor is someone who doesn't have good midos.
A boor is someone who has good midos, or a boor is a stupid person?
I don't remember the Rambam's definition of boor actually.
Could it be that you know everything, but you don't act ethically? That like you must have acquired that knowledge. It's sort of like backhandedly, like something.
I was wondering something like that, meaning like
But
your
you don't really
actions,
understand.
the ethical guy is rooted in, his ethics are rooted in knowledge, even though he doesn't consciously have it. You know, I'm not sure. Umisha Omer al Amharetz Shu Chasid, someone who says about an Amharetz that such a person is Chasid, Eno Ela Machlish Divrei Chachamim, he's only denying what's the word? Contradicting. Yeah, contradicting the words of the Chachamim Sheichlitu B'zeh Hachlata Gemara, who had a firm decision on this. V'gam Machlish as a Muslim, he's also denying rationality. L'chein Timsa HaMitzvah B'chol HaTorah V'limadatem V'achar Kach La'asosan. That's why the Torah says learn and then do. Talmud kodem l'masa. Talmud comes before Maisa. Ki Talmud yavo lidei Maisa. V'ena Maisa mivi lidei Talmud. Doesn't he sound like he's saying the other guy's better?
Yeah, he sounds like he's saying the intellect.
With the intellect's better, yeah, right?
I thought he was saying that like the person who has the good ethics would at least be acting right, which is the end goal technically. I was gonna say like,
I hear that
so
argument
if
also.
you're doing correctly, then you can always learn the ideas.
Right.
But if
Yeah,
you're
but
not
now it sounds like he's saying the
doing
opposite,
ideas,
right?
Yeah. it sounds-
Ki b'Talmud yavo lidei Maisa. In Maisa maybe lidei Talmud. All right, let's finish it and then come back to that tomorrow. And Maisa doesn't come to bring you to Talmud. V'zehu amram alei mashalim shat Talmud maybe lidei Maisa. I'll leave you with a question though. Okay, this is the question we're going to end with. V'nishara kanch ela achas. There's one question remaining. You got to love this question. Yesh l'mak shalomar. The objector could say, Atem kvar amartem shelo himtzia hachachma elokis shum devar lo v'tala. You told me that the divine wisdom doesn't produce anything in vain. And all the creations under the lunar sphere, man is the most exalted. And the purpose of man is to gain knowledge. Why do all of the people exist then? All the people who are not involved in gaining knowledge.
I mean, why do they exist?
Well, they just
So he's saying if the purpose of man of everything on earth is for man, and the purpose of man is to gain knowledge, what about all the human beings who are not gaining knowledge?
I mean, how do they exist? Or why?
No, why are they like it seems like their existence is Labatala.
Because they need free will.
Okay, so that's how I would have answered it. That's what I would have answered. He gives a different answer.
they haven't started yet.
You have to have.
Yeah, right. That's what I would have said. They're just
So
underdeveloped.
you have to have a species in order to have the few who come out of it.
Right,
Also,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
In order to get anybody's being
Right.
perfected, like unless he's asking why isn't everybody perfected, but then he's denying free will. It seems. So.
Right. So that's how I would have answered, but we'll see what he answers tomorrow. Bli neder. Yeah. All right. Thanks for staying for the extended session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
that